Trump launched another run for the presidency. Here's what the US Attorney General had to say.
The Department of Justice has long recognized that in certain extraordinary cases, it is in the public interest to appoint a special prosecutor to independently manage an investigation and prosecution. Based on recent developments, including the former president's announcement that he is a candidate for president in the next election, and the sitting president's stated intention to be a candidate as well, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint a special counsel.
Well, let's get more now from the BBC's Nomia Iqbal, who's in Washington. Nomia, just explain how the appointment of a special counsel is supposed to insulate the Department of Justice from the claims that it could be conducting a politically motivated investigation into the former President Donald Trump.
Good question. And you know, what Merrick Garland's obviously trying to do is avoid being accused of being part of a political witch hunt. You know, he's the country's top law enforcement officer. He's overseeing these investigations into Donald Trump. If there are charges to be brought against Donald Trump, he's the guy that's going to decide that. But as you heard there in that clip, he has decided that that's politically complicated now because Donald Trump's announced he's running for the White House and because the man who oversees the department and handpicked him for the job is likely to also return to the campaign trail. And already Donald Trump and his supporters, they often accuse the Department of Justice of this being a political witch hunt. And you know, you can see, let's just say Merrick Garland, if he stayed in that position, decided, OK, we're going to prosecute Donald Trump, and Mr. Trump's on the campaign trail and Mr. Biden's on the campaign trail, that's if they get the nominations. You can see how that narrative will be used by Mr. Trump and his supporters to say, well, you know, President Biden is trying to stop me from getting into the White House and so forth. So by putting in an independent prosecutor, Mr. Garland obviously wants to insulate him from those accusations. But I think the truth is, Laura, that it almost doesn't matter who they appoint as an independent prosecutor. As far as Donald Trump's concerned, as far as his supporters are concerned, there is no one that could ever possibly be fair enough in their eyes to Mr. Trump. And he has released a statement, Mr. Trump, just to quote you what he said, "Totally expected political stunt by feckless, politicized, weaponized Biden Department of Justice."
OK, so Nomia, which are the criminal investigations into Mr. Trump that the special counsel will be overseeing?
So the first one is the January 6th Capitol riots. They'll be investigating and see if there are any criminal charges to be brought against Donald Trump, who's accused of inciting a mob that tried to overturn the 2020 election results. And the second one follows the FBI raid on his home in Mar-a-Lago in Florida in August. He's accused of removing highly classified or top secret documents from the White House when he left into his home in Florida. So those are the two investigations that Jack Smith will be overseeing. He'll decide if there are any criminal charges to be brought against Mr. Trump.
Nomia Iqbal in Washington, thanks for that update.